What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo guru. Nintendo. They're doomed. What's up, everybody? So, look, I gotta have a candid conversation. It's kind of why I'm sitting down at the moment, right? We need to have a heart-to-heart Nintendo community. I'm confused. I really am. I don't know what happened, because a week ago we watched a 3-minute trailer, 3 minutes and 37 seconds to be exact. So a 3.5-minute trailer, and suddenly Nintendo's screwed. They're falling apart. What happens if they don't last? What goes on? So I just kind of wanted to go through some things that I read today, and more or less just kind of like, let's have a chat, okay? Let's have a serious conversation where your thinking is, because I'm confused. By all means, I am blown away by some of the comments I'm reading today. So the first one that we're going to go through, Nintendo pulled a bait and switch. So apparently there was a YouTube channel as well that feels this way, Review Tech USA. Why? Because during the trailer, they showed Skyrim and they showed 2K basketball, and now apparently Bethesda and 2K are saying, no, we aren't saying that those games are coming. We're just saying that we support the NX, and Nintendo used our footage. And people are all up in arms. Like, Nintendo is telling us, look, let's get things straight. Two things. Number one, that trailer was not a games release trailer. That trailer, other than Zelda, that's the only confirmed game that's happening for the Switch. Okay? So not in any realm of possibilities were any of those other games expected to hit the Switch. So that's number one. Like, when I watched that thing, I didn't look at it and go, oh my god, these games are coming to Switch. I looked at it and went, these are the things I can do with Switch. I could play it on the go. I could play it at home. I could play it on the airplane. I could play it at a park if I wanted to play it at a park. I could play with my buddies in the car. Whatever it is, that's what I took from Switch, and that's what I feel like Nintendo was trying to tell us. Here's what it is. Here's what you can do. For people to now go and say, oh, you bait and switch. No, they didn't. And here's another thing. Let's just take this another step. When the Wii U came out, the biggest complaint was the games that we got from third-party developers were mainly ported old games, 6 months to a year old, and we didn't want them. That's why we didn't buy them. Do you really think that Nintendo is going to come out and do the same thing a second time? I don't think so. I think they're smart enough to learn from their mistakes. The third thing, we'll just throw this in there. If you read the Bethesda press release, and you read the 2K press release, they're almost identical. Almost identical. Now let's take the fact that if you listen to what Image Informed said, that they were in turn told not to talk about dev kits, not to say anything at all, and they were actually told by Nintendo what they should or shouldn't say. They took it upon themselves to say things differently because they thought, like, hey, just saying no comment or something like that just doesn't make sense. We're going to handle it our own way. I just feel like this is stupidity on people to now get mad at Nintendo for pulling a bait and switch. Nintendo, nowhere in that video does it ever come out and say these games will be available on Switch. These games are what you can look forward to with Switch. Never said. So that's number one. The other thing that kind of has me a little boggled is everybody trying to determine the price and everybody being an expert now, because we don't know what this thing is. So it's very difficult to put a price on this. I've seen prices going, oh, it's going to be a $700 piece. Oh, it's going to be sold separately. Nintendo already debunked that and said, we're not selling the handheld version and the home console. You get it all in one. That's the way we're going to sell it. Good, I'm glad they did that. But I've seen 700, I've seen 400, I've seen 250, I've seen 300. End of the day, we don't know what this thing consists of. We don't know if it's a touchscreen. We don't know if it has Wi-Fi capabilities, internet capability. We don't know anything. calm down. Stop jumping off the bridge because you think this thing's $700 and I don't want it now. Who even said $700? Nobody said $700. Relax. Calm down. Another one I saw was, would you buy Switch if it was cheaper? A cheaper version, a cheaper model was put out that was rooted at your home, meaning you couldn't take it on the go. First off, at that point, why are you even buying the thing? You're basically buying an inferior home console. That's why a lot of people didn't buy the Wii U. It makes no sense whatsoever to go that route for Nintendo. Makes no sense for people to even ask for that at this point. And to me, it bothers me because it basically goes back to the whole Wii U gamepad thing where we don't want this gamepad, we just want a Pro controller. Give us a Pro controller, that's all we want. You're not gonna get it. And the only thing you're doing is setting yourself up for disappointment. It makes no sense, people. Seriously, like, stop this nonsense. Your only thing you're doing is getting yourself worked up and upset for something that's not going to happen, or not worked up and upset. You're just getting yourself worked up in hopes that something's going to happen that's not going to happen. So stop it. Seriously, this makes no sense whatsoever. They're not going to have a rooted console. Makes no sense at all because that's what this is all about. The ability to take it on the go, to play it at home. You start your game on the couch, you're playing, you're like, you know what, I don't want to stop playing, I'm going to go out in the backyard because we're having a barbecue out back and I want to keep playing. So you pick it up and you go outside. The things that you could not do with your Wii U, you can do with this, and that's what makes it exciting. You want to go to bed? You know what? Your wife is saying, like, come on, let's go to bed. I don't want to sit here while you're playing it. Okay, no problem. You go up to the bedroom and you can continue playing. There's so much stuff that this thing is perfect for. Makes zero sense for people to all of a sudden start changing what this thing should be. Stop. So then the other thing was Nintendo did come out and said, listen, the things that you saw in the trailer, meaning the games, things of that nature, don't get too excited for those because don't read too much into that stuff. We're just basically showing you the experiences you can expect from Switch. And then I'm seeing people going like, let's hope we don't get disappointed. Like, seriously, look. The Nintendo community. We need to have a talk. All right, this is what's going to happen here. We're going to have a conversation now because I'm at this point where I'm getting annoyed with you guys because I'm sitting there and I'm going, you're a Nintendo fan. You're going to buy this thing day one. You're going to get this day one. But yet all you're doing is putting these questions out to the other people that might be on the fence and making them think this thing ain't worth having. I don't want this thing. Or I'm going to wait and see, and I'm not going to get it at launch. And maybe there's someone that's on the fence and they're thinking like, maybe I should get it, maybe I shouldn't. And your dumb comments are basically swaying them to move away from this idea and go to either PSVR or Xbox Slim or wait for Scorpio or whatever it might be. And at the end of the day, if you're a Nintendo fan, you should be cheering Nintendo on and thanking them for giving you what they gave you. We're not even a week after this whole trailer got released, and you guys are already jumping off cliffs and screaming the demise of Nintendo. I've seen things where people are actually posting polls in Nintendo forums where they're saying, if the Switch fails, should Nintendo give up consoles altogether and go third party? And they had the two things. The thing isn't even released yet, and you guys are already discounting it and wanting to leave. And then when I question the guy that puts it up, he says, oh, well, I'm buying it day one. Then why do you have this on here? Why are you putting out these, I don't understand the point of putting out questions that are confusing people that are on the fence. That's what confuses me altogether. If you're a Nintendo fan, stop talking about battery life because Nintendo hasn't talked about it. Stop talking about pricing because Nintendo hasn't talked about it. Stop talking about bait and switch because it's not the case. You guys are all upset about stuff for no reason at all. If you want to have things that you want to talk about, like, hey, I hope that the Switch has touchscreen. I hope that the Switch offers good online capabilities where we have voice chat. I hope that the Switch does this, or I hope that it does that. Those are conversations you should be having, not conversations talking about the demise of Nintendo. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is to stop the doom and gloom, stop the nonsense, and wake up. because you guys are being silly and it's ridiculous. We're a week after the reveal trailer. That is all. See me later.